Hi, it's Jane with the Compassion Project, and I am here today with Megan Derrick. Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you.
I am super excited today. We're going to share their pandemic wedding story. This couple is amazing, and I'm excited to find out your story. So that's why I have you on. So they are dynamic and inspiring, and they're from Indianapolis, Indiana. And I've been lucky enough to get to know these two through the pandemic. We've done a few of these chats, and yeah, they're amazing. So I like to call them the dynamic duo. They are all about inspiring and helping others, and their goal is to help revolutionize relationships one couple at a time. And so today, yeah, they're going to share their wedding story. They recently got married in Kauai, as you can see the background.
Yeah.
And they on March 4th.
March 3rd.
And
March 3rd.
Oh, March 3rd.
Yeah. I updated Facebook on the 4th. That's what.
Okay, March 3rd, they got married in Kauai. So, but I have to tell you this, Megan, I'm be really honest. So I remember, because we watch each other on Facebook and you know, the pandemic is it's hard, like, to not do things, to not travel. And my husband is a retired pilot now, so we traveled a lot. We haven't gone anywhere since the pandemic. We don't even go to restaurants. We really safe. So then I see on Facebook, oh, Megan's getting married in Kauai. I'm like, what?
Yeah, we didn't either. So yeah.
No, I had a little bit of a like, what? She's getting married in Kauai? Well, and then there's this line, like, what you don't know that you don't know about people, right? I had a little bit of a judgment, like, oh, I'm not even going to restaurants, and how can they go to Kauai to get married? And I was a little bit jealous because I'm like, you know, like I felt sort of like, and I don't know the story of how hard it is to jump through all the hoops to actually get married in Kauai. Yeah, so then I heard that you had a few little issues. I thought, oh, I gotta hear this story.
Maybe I don't feel so bad now, right?
No, I was really happy for you, but I did think, wow, that's interesting. So whose idea was it to actually get married in Kauai?
I think both of ours, right?
Yeah, we booked it when we thought the pandemic was getting better and didn't think we were going to have to go really through much at all. We were just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we expected some resistance, but not nearly the amount that we had.
Yeah, we booked the Airbnb in Kauai first because we fell in love with the place that we stayed at. It was a secret. We hadn't told anyone except for like your dad and my best friend, really, because we wanted just other things to be in play and kind of have it just be a surprise.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and planning to get married during the pandemic, knowing you couldn't have a lot of people, just you two.
Yeah.
Was that something that you wanted, or you just thought, let's just do it because it's a pandemic and it'll be about us? Or were you worried about not having your family there?
No, absolutely not. I think it was about us. I think oftentimes people focus so much on a wedding. They focus so much on a day. And what's really about is how can we focus and plan out our marriage? We want to plan out that day so much. Let's plan out our marriage. And interestingly enough, we had this time where we were able to spend so much time with each other. But because of the growth seed that we both have inside of each other, we found ourselves reading books together and planning our lives together while we were on a trip and going back and forth on 3 different books that we both read each other during the time that we were gone. And it's amazing, but we were able to plan our marriage, but not only that, just to enjoy each other and have that time. And that's what it was simply all about. Now, we knew that we still wanted to share our friends and our family. So we decided to do a party later on in the year. In August. So we decided to still do that. But far as the actual marriage and the wedding in itself, it was about us.
Yeah, when we announced it to everyone, when Derek officially proposed, we were 42 days out from getting married. Yeah, so we had secretly been doing everything and planning and stuff. But to give you an example, because I think this part was missed out, when we booked the trip originally, we were going to be gone for 8 days. With COVID, we learned in, I think, January that we had to stay in a resort bubble in order to be able to get into our Airbnb in Kauai. And to avoid getting in the resort bubble, basically meaning you had to go to a hotel that fit the resort bubble qualifications. You couldn't leave. You couldn't go to restaurants, like grocery store places that could deliver it to you. You could only go outside to one designated area. Mm-hmm. We found out to avoid that, if you flew into another part of the mainlands in Hawaii and are at least there for 72 hours, you could avoid the resort bubble. So we're like, okay, let's do that.
Okay.
We're planning to be gone for 2 whole weeks. So when Derrick was saying that we were reading a lot in the beginning, we were, because it was like not planned at all to be gone for that long, but it was like the most beautiful thing. Absolutely. To have that extra time. And, you know, our love language is quality time. So we both like love time together. So.
Yeah. That's so good. So I'm curious. Okay. So you decided to go, you booked the Airbnb. So then when it came to book the flights, you're going from Indianapolis to Honolulu?
Well, originally was to Kauai. We had so many things we had to switch up. We were like becoming friends with the airlines because they had to switch things. There were flights that were canceled to Kauai. And then they have to give you enough time. Then you have to be, you know, on the other island when we switch things over for at least 72 hours. Not to mention how many COVID tests. I never see another COVID test in my life.
Okay, so tell me how it worked. I'm confused. So when do you have to do the COVID test before you left?
It's really, like, even still going through this, we heard someone in the airline, like, sitting in the airport on the way back trying to figure out the COVID stuff. Because it's written on Hawaii.gov, like their website, but it's still not clear. And if you call anyone, everybody gives their interpretations. And so it's not clear.
Oh, my goodness.
But to give you an idea, because I feel like this is part of our story, between the two of us, we each had 4 COVID tests. And between the two of, well, you had 4, I had 4. We spent $1,000 in COVID tests, just to give you an idea. That was not expected.
Oh my goodness. Really?
Yeah, it's one of those things that nobody really knows. Like, even that you call for assistance. I mean, I called who did I call? The health, the CDC. I even called the CDC. I was like, the Center of Disease and Control. I was like, I'm trying to figure out what. I was like, the airline doesn't know what they're talking about. Everybody I called can't give me a straight answer. So that was
so basically what we learned is when you fly into the mainlands, you have to have a recent COVID test to show them once you get off the flight that you can go in there. We had to have a safe travels account, which was like a thing, like you had to have a name and password. It has a barcode. You had to show that. And then once we got there,
upload your test to that.
Yeah, all your testing and everything, you had to show that in order to move on.
Okay.
And then once we got into Honolulu, this was the confusing part, and this is what tripped us up. We thought you had to do it within the first 72 hours, right? I'm still confused.
Well, yeah. Well, I think you're jumping ahead a little bit. Just originally, the whole COVID testing to travel is ridiculous. Just period. Just start from the beginning.
Just don't do it yet.
It's nobody knows what they're talking about. So I thought that I did my research, and I made sure that I thought that I did everything. So I made sure that, okay, if I go to CVS, I can get this test that is for travel, and it also is accepted. It's the right test that I need to have to go into a flight to Hawaii.
Yeah.
So we get there, we're taking the test, we do the test, and this is one of the ones, it's an easy one because we swab ourselves with that one.
They don't show
so it's great. So we're doing that, but then the lady is freaking out saying, I don't think it's going to work for travel. And I'm like, well, I mean, where do you get that from? And I talked to somebody else, I even read up on it, and I believe it does. And she's like, no, I don't think so. Where are you getting that from? She really couldn't clearly say, but of course, the panic in Meg, it's like, well, we got to do a different test.
We're not going to be
able to go. So with that being said, we're like, okay, well, we both just took this test. The very next day, well, that same day, we're talking to another gentleman that I work with, and he's like, well, I know somebody who's taken 7 tests. They'll tell you exactly where to go. So he calls her up, and then we found another place that we can go get a test for free, actually. So that was great. That was a good part. But it was a rapid antigen test. So we took that test as well. So we had 2 different tests. We were like, okay, we got one test and I got another one that we're waiting on that should be in here in time. So hopefully.
Well, but we were still.
So you did this before you left to go to Hawaii. You had already your is it paperwork? They give you the paperwork. So you've got your passport, you got your paperwork on the COVID test.
They'll email you your test results. And so one reason why with that first test we weren't sure if it was going to be back in time was because the lady scared us. So we went to stay the night at his dad's house so his dad could take us to the airport in the morning. We still didn't have that test back. At 2:45 in the morning, Derrick wakes me up because he sees it on his phone, and he actually goes and gets my phone to check. And he looks at me, he's like, "It's negative. We're good." And I was like, "Yay!" Because it was like a huge relief because we were flying at 7 in the morning, and so that was our first big yes, we got it.
Mm-hmm.
Then once we actually stayed in Honolulu for our days, we went and got the most expensive test, and they go all the way up there. It was like
okay. So now, just wait a second. So now you land there, and was your plan to stay in Honolulu for 3 days and then go to Kauai, or were you? That was your plan?
Yep. So
we have to do a test when you arrive there.
Once you've been there for 72 hours, then you're supposed to take it. We took it within the window.
So the confusing part was you're supposed to be there for 72 hours, then take a test. Under my understanding, I needed to have a test within 72 hours before departure.
And that's what we thought. Yeah.
So what we did was we arrived on a Wednesday night. We took we weren't flying again until Monday morning early. So what we did was we said, okay, let's take a test on Friday, because if we take it on Friday, we should have it back in time by Monday, and that's within 72 hours flying on Monday. Well, we were wrong.
Yeah, well, and all of this, is confusing as it sounds, it should still show you that it's not clear. And so we felt like, okay, we've done all the things. We got the negative test. We're so excited to go to Kauai. We take our flight that day, which was only supposed to be a 30-minute flight. We get there.
What time was your flight? Just wait, what time did the flight leave Honolulu?
7:30, I think.
And then, okay, that was on a Monday.
Yeah, and even getting to the airport was a struggle because Lyft and Uber was really full. So we had to take taxi. It was just hot mess trying to get there.
Oh my God. But when was the actual wedding? You were flying on Monday morning. When was the ceremony?
The third. So we flew on the first, and it was the third when we were getting married.
Oh, okay. So
time.
Yeah.
But we get to Kauai, and we're so excited because we already had the day planned. We were going to be meeting with our wedding license person at 2, and we're going to explore and stuff. So we get to Kauai at the airport, which is very small. We have our little things uploaded, going through the line, so excited. Yeah. I remember I sent a picture to my mom and then to your dad, just saying, "We're here, we made it." And then we go to show them our Safe Travels account thing, and it took forever this time. They didn't just let us through. And the guy came back and basically was like, "This test."
So yeah, when you get off the plane, we're excited. It's nice. The National Guard is actually the ones that are there making sure that they check everybody in, and they're checking everybody's tests and everything. So you have a National Guard there. You got a guy at fatigues. I mean, they'll take your stuff. And so the guy takes it. He looks at our QR code and he asks us a couple questions. Then he walks away. So he walks away and talks and converses with somebody else. And he's talking for a really long time. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? I know this test has got to be right. We just spent $615 on it. I know it's got to be good.
Oh my goodness,
good. It's negative. Let's go. What are we waiting on? And he was like, "So when did you get to Honolulu?" I said, "Well, we got there on Wednesday." He said, "Okay. When did you take this test again?" I said, "Well, we took it on Friday." "Oh yeah, this doesn't work." And so Meg is weirdly enough, because usually she's freaking out at this point. Weirdly, she's kind of calm, and the reverse happens. I'm upset because I'm the one that usually stays really calm. I'm like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean?" I'm like, "No." So I said, he's like, "Well, Yeah. So I was like, so what does that mean to me? He's like, well, you got two
he,
options.
he didn't say that to you because you walked away. Because like just trying to get all this stuff was already a lot. Like it was a lot. Just we haven't even said all the fixes. And so I was like, okay, so what do we need to do?
Yeah.
They're like, where do we have to go take the COVID test? Like, we'll just take it right now.
Yeah, just take it there and be done.
He's like, well, you have two options. He said, first one, you just quarantine for 10 days. That's how he said, you just. I'm like, well, then we can't get married. So that's out.
Yeah.
And then the second one, he said, or you fly back to Honolulu, take your test there.
A rapid test.
And then you fly back. And we're like.
So in my head, I'm like, are you kidding me? I was just like, are you kidding me? I was like, are you so yeah, I'm just going to take this another $1,000 and just go fly back and forth and take another test, 2 tests, and hopefully we pass and make it back in time.
So you're there, your wedding's in 2 days, you're in Kauai, they won't let you in, and you've done you did all the right things, what you thought was, and you actually had to catch a flight. You did have to catch a flight back.
Well, with that, once they learned that our test wasn't updated, we were not left alone. We were not allowed to be left alone. We had a guard following us the whole time.
Well, the same guy. But
yeah, the same guy. I mean, he wasn't scary or anything, but we had to walk. They showed us where we had to go and book another flight because they said that it's a short flight. It's not super expensive, and they actually let us keep our bags there in their office, so we didn't lose our stuff because we met a couple that happened. And then we booked a flight because we got in at like 8:30, found this all out around 9. We got back on a plane at 11:15, flew back there.
We were there by noon.
Took our tests by like 12:30.
Yep.
While I was talking to our wedding person to reschedule the 2:00 meeting to the following day, he was rescheduling another flight back. So we got back on at 3:30. And then once we flew back, basically we couldn't go into Kauai until our test was shown that it was negative.
Emailed to us.
So taking our test, they said, usually it takes 2 to 3 hours, but our system's down. So it could take 3 to 6, but at worst case scenario, 6 to 9. So we're like,
6 to 9. I was like, oh, nuts.
so we went back to avoid being in the line and being like watched by the guards. We just sat at this chair, like on this bench for a little while. And then all of a sudden, Derrick checked his email and he's like, our results are in. They're in. And we're like, yes. So we went through the line. Passed. They gave us this red ticket. I've never been so excited. I was like, yes.
So yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was something. So what we made it back by?
We made it back by like 5.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we were back, and then we had to just
get like the Amazing Race of weddings.
That's what he literally has always said, that we would be awesome on Amazing Race. Like, you did this. This was us getting there to get married. You wanted this, so
yeah, that was his plan, an Amazing Race. But really is a good test on a couple because, and I like, and Derrick said that Meg was really calm this time because you can balance. It's so good when you can balance each other out, when you know each other well enough to be like, okay, he's acting the way he needs to act, and he needs to feel. People need to feel what they need to feel. Yeah. To take the right time for you to be the calming one, to bring them down or whatever. And, sometimes you just have to accept, like, what are you going to do? Like, really, what else? You didn't really have any other choice. What are you going to do?
No, we had and it's like, we knew that we wanted this bad enough. And we also knew there was going to be no refunds with Airbnb. We'd already made the trip to Honolulu to make this work and all the flights. There was not going to be, like, our wedding people said if we had to adjust the date, they were really cool. We can do that. But it was just like, we got to make this work.
Now, we made a commitment.
Now, when we got our final negative test, I was nervous because when we read it, it said not detected. Like, it didn't just say negative. So I thought, does this mean like the test? They didn't, like, there wasn't enough information. I'm like, if I have to fly back again, I'm going to die.
Wow.
Yeah, that was funny.
But yeah, they made it all work. The next day we went and got our marriage license, and then like everything else from there was smooth sailing.
Aww.
And travel, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I am so excited for you guys that you did it, you planned it. I mean, it's been really tough for so many couples with weddings during pandemic, canceling or I think it's hard, right? So it's nice to hear that you did it. You got through all the hoops, you made it there, and it's not easy. Like sometimes we can see pictures or we see someone else doing this. There's always a story behind. Nothing goes smoothly. I mean, life is ups and downs and challenges. You have to get through it all. So I think it's interesting to hear, because travel right now, it's crazy how much has changed.
Yeah.
It's not simple, and it is confusing. And I think I do feel like everyone is confused. Like there's not really clear guidelines. We don't really know. So you have to, if you're going to go get married in Hawaii or travel at this time, you have to be prepared that things could happen, that you have to just go with it, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's like the day, like even the way that we booked the actual wedding, which the picture on the background is from our actual wedding day, which is so cool. But
yes, it is.
There was still fear, I think, because of all the hoops that we had gone through to get there, that, oh, how about if this doesn't work? And I was not nervous at all to marry you, but the day of, I was actually really nervous, and you knew that. We actually like rode in the car with a sheet in between us, so we didn't see each other. And the way that we booked everything was through an amazing company. They set everything up. It's just the two of us. But still, there's that chance that how about if one of them doesn't show up? Or how about if they're not personable? Or how about if the weather's bad? But it was the most beautiful, gorgeous day. It was exactly what we wanted. We wanted to both be present and just, make it about us, have God there, have beautiful weather.
Yeah.
I mean, and our minister brought us fresh bananas that he just cut off his tree on the way there. Who does that?
Really?
Yeah.
Aww. So what was the name of the company you used?
Kauai Island Weddings. And their customer service with the guy that I talked to he's like the cutest person. His name is Hans. I wish he would have been the one to marry us. I even asked him that. Like, can you marry us? You're adorable. But the way they did everything, I mean, we had a videographer there, which we haven't, it'll take a couple months to edit all of that and everything. Our photographer, I mean, they did 2 hours of photographs for us, and the drone go up to take the cliff pictures. And they love, like, you could tell they love what they did too. Like they were laughing with us when we were laughing, and
they did excellent.
Yeah, it was fun. So
amazing. I am so happy for you guys. And I think we should put up the website, that Kauai Island Weddings. Maybe in the comments, we'll put it up. So is there anything you would change now that because your day was magical. The actual day and wedding was really magical, right?
Yeah. Well, I know that you've seen like pictures of it. But I was like blown away by some of what they did. Like I knew, like the way they had it, Derrick was facing the water, and I didn't know that I was going to be walking through like this wilderness area, which was with all the green around. So it was kind of challenging to do that with my dress, the flowers, barefoot with these like decorative things on my feet.
It was beautiful.
Thank you. By the time I got down there though, and like, I don't think Derrick knew that I was going to be that close to him yet, because he didn't watch me walk all that way. And then you turned around and you were like, he was so happy.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. Just that whole day, everything about it was amazing. And we had, I believe when we had made a decision earlier that day at the Airbnb, like at what time we would not see each other any longer. And so then, since it was only us, and we had to travel about 40 minutes to get there, the night before I had took the sheet and I tied it in and made it to where the back seat and the front seat was separated, where the front seat couldn't see what was in the back.
That's smart.
And so that when you were done getting ready, she was able to text me and say, okay, I'm in the car, I'm ready. And so then I was ready to go in the car, and then I couldn't see her. And so I didn't see her any of that time until I actually was able to turn around. And when you turn around and you see this breathtaking beauty in front of you, and you're just like, that's my wife. And so it was amazing to be able to just, oh man, it was a perfect day. It was everything that I had prayed for. And it was just amazing. It happened just the way that you would envision, maybe even exceeded my expectations.
They really did. Like, I didn't think that
amazing.
The way that they did pictures and just the way they were so good with us, and we both do business. So it's like, just everything was just perfect.
It was
and then
excellent.
we got what we wanted. We had that quality time, just the two of us. We were present. We could confess our love and have it captured. But I love just how much they captured you and your facial expressions and me, because they did a part of the Hawaiian tradition with weddings, because we did a Hawaiian Christian. They bring out fresh leis. So the leis that we had were like beautiful fresh flowers. And they handed it to me, and they had us breathe 3 breaths into it. So I just did what they said. I was like, and then, I breathed, and then I put it on you. Derrick took it, and he was like, do what you did. You're like.
I was just breathing I breathed every bit of air that I could possibly breathe in until my whole diaphragm was expanded.
For each breath, and I was just dying. And like they captured that, and with our vows, like we both did our vows, and that was really special too, because ours they were different, but they were similar. They really focused around creating a love legacy, which is what we're both big about. And then just having them take all that. And then they also did, I think you saw this, but they did a petal release ceremony.
I saw those pictures. I love them.
But I think it's so cool, because they truly tell you with that, they want you to let go of everything from your past that's no longer going to go with you in your future. And just,
Oh, is that what that means?
Yeah. They just wanted you to like release it. So to me, it was self-sabotage. It was past relationships. It was past anything that you want to detox from your life on your special day.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. And it's actually interesting. I'm a little obsessed with Wayne Dyer. He's my ultimate personal growth. Like I love him. I've learned more from him than anyone. And he loves Hawaii too. He's lived there. And this morning he was talking about letting go. The only way to move forward and become completely aware and authentic is letting go of your past. But I didn't realize that was a symbol in Hawaii so did you each take petals and throw them up?
I don't know if it's a Hawaiian thing or if it's just part of this company that did it.
No, I believe it's Hawaiian. I've seen others do it before.
I bet it's a tradition.
Yeah, it's a tradition. Just like we didn't know that aloha was.
Yeah, aloha means love.
Oh.
In a like a love of, when they described it very.
Is it like a greeting? Aloha is like a greeting of love that like I see. I bet it's like I see love in you, and that connection, the greeting maybe.
That's because they described it during our ceremony. We have the notes. We need to look at it again.
Yeah, we do.
Part of it, I was just like.
Yeah. And that's one of the things you can tell about the culture there, and the native Hawaiians there is a lot of love in the people. A lot of love in the people, and they greet you with true, genuine heart, I would say. It was really genuine, really nice. So I really enjoyed that.
Because people don't really greet each other with aloha as much. It's mahalo. Is what they say.
Mahalo.
Mahalo, yeah.
Why was I thinking mahalo was thank you? No, I guess not. I don't know. I used to go to Hawaii all the time. My parents loved Hawaii. My mom, actually, get this, when my mom was like 18, she was really ill. So we're talking 70-something years ago. Or she was one of the few that had gone to Hawaii when she was young to heal by herself. Like this young, no one really ever went there. And it was the experience, it's this crazy story, actually. And she kind of fell in love with this tom-tom, and they kept in touch. And after she married my dad, we went back every year and connected with all these local Hawaiians. She stayed in touch with them for forever. So I'm really attached to Hawaii. I love it.
That's cool.
There's a lot of tradition and stuff. But anyway, we should probably go, because we could probably talk a lot longer about your story. But you two are amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I love it. And you're such a beautiful couple. And I love that you're both on personal growth and that you were really present at your wedding. I mean, the key is anything is to be present right there in the moment. That's where all the joy is, whether you're at home or in your wedding, but to actually be aware and be like, we're going to just take it all in, because it's such a clear memory then, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because your mind could easily go to, like, I've witnessed this with friends or family or just, client weddings and stuff, where the focus goes to everything that went wrong, or you're focused on what could go wrong or all of those things. Or like, I feel like when we were there, I was so excited. Like I was like on another level of excitement that I had to pull myself down to like, be present, because I was just like,
yeah.
I think that's beautiful. Okay, well, thank you so much. And this amazing couple is going to come back in a couple of weeks on the Compassion Project and play Cool to Connect with me.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having us. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're amazing. And one day you can show this to your kids.
Yeah.
Okay. What was that?
I said we appreciate it. Having us.
Yeah, it's fun. Okay, thanks a lot.
All right,
Bye.
thank you.
And we'll put the website to the wedding in the comments after Kauai Island weddings.
Yep.
Okay. Bye.